And joining us now is James Sample, a professor of constitutional law at Hofstra Law School. Thank you so much for joining us, Professor.
Thank you, Mary.
Professor, this ruling, momentous, what does it mean for women in America?
What it means, Chris, for women in America is that women in most of red America are not only going to find that abortion is unavailable, but that it is actually going to be criminalized, and the aiding and abetting of engaging in reproductive freedom is going to be a criminal act in most of red America. It means also, and Justice Thomas, who wrote a separate concurrence, indicates this very clearly, that other privacy rights are going to be under renewed and reinvigorated threat. And by that I mean rights like the right to same-sex marriage and even the right to contraception and reproductive freedom, which Justice Thomas specifically mentions as those that he thinks are ripe for similar challenges to the challenge that resulted in overturning this 50 years of American law.
So many areas to pay close attention to. Now, in the tri-state area, abortion rights are protected. How does today's decision impact people here?
Mary, the way that this decision impacts people here is that they are going to be called upon by their fellow citizens from other states around the country to provide what Governor Hochul referred to as that safe harbor. And speaking more as a citizen than as a professor, I hope that individuals in the tri-state area are welcoming, are supportive, and that the legislatures in this tri-state area do all that they can to make this tri-state area hospitable to women who are seeking to advance their reproductive freedom. But the sad truth is that women who lack the financial means and the time and the physical freedom to be able to engage in the travel required to go to states like New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey are going to sadly be sorely disadvantaged and are going to be relegated to the type of second-class citizenry that women have been for far too long in this country.
Professor, it seems as though this is really kind of a tale of two types of states. You have states like New York, New Jersey that will offer protections for women, but then you have other states that you mentioned earlier that are going to criminalize abortion. I mean, I guess as a nation, where does this put us?
It really does create a scenario where we are talking about two very, very different Americas. I mean, imagine the circumstance of a woman who is the victim of rape or incest and who is unable to travel and who is now entirely dependent on the state in which she resides for whether or not she has the freedom to engage in a right that for most women, especially women of childbearing age, has been available to them for their entire lives. We're talking about a Supreme Court that is resistant to states imposing things like mask or vaccine mandates, but has absolutely no problem telling states that the state can force a woman to carry a pregnancy to term.
Okay, Professor, thank you. Professor James Sample, Professor of Constitutional Law at Hofstra Law School. Thank you so much for taking the time and joining us here this morning.
Thank you, Chris.